I have something to admit to you guys, and it really pains me to say this, but honestly, Nintendo is just, I've had it up to here with them, you know? I really don't understand what they're doing. After the comments on my last video I made where I reviewed Legend ZA, you guys really opened my eyes, and I decided to just stop being so stingy and buy the new DLC. And I'll be the first one to admit, I actually didn't watch a trailer or anything when I pre-ordered it. And with putting together my thoughts after playing the base game and how a lot of things felt a little half-baked, I was pretty worried. If you're wondering why I actually spent money on it after playing ZA for the first time, I still stand by the fact that I don't hate ZA. You can argue as much as you want, I don't think it's that bad of a game. Is it worth all that money? Hell no. But I love Mega Evolutions. I enjoyed a large majority of my time playing ZA and seeing all the new stuff. But at the end of the day, I like monster catching games and Pokemon, so, you know, I'll try it. And Mega Evolution, in my opinion, is one of the best things ever, so I really wanted to see the new Megas and have the whole experience. Spoiler warning here, of course, I'm going to be talking about the Megas and the story and everything in the post-game and all the in-between stuff. As someone who was really just looking forward to the new Mega Evolutions, I will say I'm happy to announce, even though it's subjective, the Mega Evolutions and the Mega Dimensions DLC are like leagues above, way better than the base game Mega Evolutions. I know people are going to disagree with me. I'm going to be honest, they are just so much better. They're so cool, they're fun, there's a lot of really fun ones to look at. Some of my personal favorites are, of course, Edgy Absol, Tatsugiri, Sushi Plate, and then weirdly enough, I did not care about Golurk, but this Mega looks awesome. Wait, he looks sick. Mega Golurk? Holy! I think for ones I don't really care about is just one of them is Staraptor, but nothing's worse than Pyroar, so Staraptor, you're doing okay. To see these new Megas, you kind of just had to play through the story, which the story, if I just had to summarize it and not go over the entire thing, some wormholes start opening up. You find Ancho, which is a little girl who has a Pokemon Hoopa and can open up these time distortion places by using donuts. It kind of reminds me of the sandwich system in Scarlet and Violet. It's pretty much the same thing, to be honest. You find some berries, make some donuts, Hoopa goes into some wormholes. You go into this alternate dimension of Lumiose, which is pretty much just the same thing. I thought it was different at first, but it's just the same map. They just turned it white. But it's not the whole map, it's just a chunk, so you can go into these small to large hyper dimensions, and they will have some of the new Pokemon that they've added. There's two types of dimensions. Some will have these silhouettes of the new Pokemon you can discover, or some older ones, and then there's the battle zone ones, and just go battle trainers. The loop of the story is you just go investigate, you get enough points after investigating for doing the side missions and the wormholes, and then some kind of story beat happens where you see a new rogue Mega Evolution, and then you do it all over again. And you keep going to Corbu, and he goes, yeah, I don't really know, but it's kind of dangerous. We need to hurry up. And you do that maybe like 5 or 6 times. It's actually a pretty cool story. I will say, though, it is a little grindy. The Legend ZA base game was grindy. The post game was very, very grindy, especially if you wanted the Shiny Charm. So I ended up not doing it because I got really lazy. And thankfully, in the ZA DLC, they give you the points needed for the Shiny Charm. So as soon as I did the first few missions, I immediately got the Shiny Charm. I did not have to do any grinding. I didn't have to buy a single one, and I didn't have to waste any time. Look at that. All I had to do is spend $30 on DLC. It is the one point in my life where I would say being lazy actually worked out for some reason. But overall, it is the same mechanics, the same story. One of the main new mechanics is the Pokemon inside of the dimensions can be up to, I think, level 200. I don't know if they get any more than that. And then the donuts you make that you give to Hoopa before you enter will give you things like additional stats, more levels. They can even do things like make you see more alpha Pokemon or more shinies, or you can loot more items. It is interesting, and it is fun to make the donuts because you have to pick the berries, you can see what stats you're going into. I don't mind the system at all. Overall, it is kind of just more Legend ZA. Also, just to mention, there are some side missions that are added that are not part of the main story and just kind of around Lumiose. I didn't do too many of them, but a lot of them are just, here's this Pokemon that is cool, here's Gimme Ghoul. Also, can you evolve him for me? You know, this guy's literally just giving up. He's like, I don't even want this Pokemon anymore, so much work. Get, you can have it. It's a lot of that, which is a nice addition to throw in some flavor between the grinding of different Rogue Mega Evolution fights. Also on the Rogue Mega Evolution fights, I will say those were my favorite part of Legend ZA because they were so fun and interactive. The Rogue Mega fights in the DLC continue to be my favorite part of the game. Not every new Mega Evolution gets a Rogue Mega fight. Sometimes you just find them in the little wormholes. But what they did add, I thought was great. There are points in the story where if you're fighting the rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon, you actually see these non-alternate versions of Lumiose, and it's kind of just like rocks and mountain. And honestly, those are probably the highest resolution textures I've ever seen in any Pokemon game ever, besides the realistic pictures they used for the Arceus fight in one of the previous games. Wow, look at the detail. Hey, you know what? This is the most realistic rock I think that it's ever been in Pokemon. Look at this. I've never seen sand this real. I know it's flat, okay? It's a flat image. But think about who we're working with here, okay? While I did find these interesting, it is way not as interesting as the cool area where you fight Darkrai. Also, rest in peace, AZ. That was a very sweet moment. This area looks amazing. They turned on the cinematic mode to show Darkrai. His Mega is... I think it's a little silly looking, but I don't mind. I think it's funny. It's fun to look at. He kind of just reminds me of a big balloon. What? What the? Okay, I thought it was just a big eye. Oh, he looks like an egg. And while I haven't seen all the legendaries in the post game yet, the areas where they show Kyogre and Groudon look amazing. They're super cool. It really captures the feeling of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I'm not going to show them, but there are some very beautiful illustrations of Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza. I think they're super weird but fun drawings of them in like prehistoric times. I kind of wish that they'll make these Pokemon at some point, but if you play the DLC, you'll see them. I don't want to spoil it because I think it's pretty cool. It just makes me feel even more like, man, they put all the cool stuff at the end. Why didn't they do this for the rest of the game? And honestly, after this point of playing the base game and the DLC, at the end of the day, if I was to compare this to the regular game, it just kind of ends up being the same of, man, they have a lot of cool stuff. I just wish they did it more. And that probably attributes to time and how quick the process was to make this game and the DLC. I am very thankful that I didn't have to do the ZA Royale because that was not my favorite. After a while, it got super repetitive. I don't even think you have to do it at all. You can totally just do the Pokemon catching mini games, which is also grindy, but at the same time, I have a chance to get a shiny, you know, which I did catch a few of those. Oh my god, it's a shiny Venetite. Stop it. I want to catch you at a red ball. Do you have a red ball? Timer ball. Yo! We got the boy! I think playing this DLC kind of made me realize that what I really enjoy about this game is things like the shiny hunting and completing the Pokédex, really just the monster catching part of everything. Also, my two favorite Pokemon of all time are apparently not shiny locked. I have not caught them yet and I haven't tried, but god, I want to. Not talking about the price, I do think that the DLC is actually a good addition and it is pretty fun. I almost feel myself enjoying it more than the base game at a lot of different points. My main criticisms for the base game still stand. I think that it is very half-baked in a lot of areas, but the DLC felt better, it was more fun, it was fluid, the mega designs were better. The choices to be able to battle or just catch Pokemon are better. The ways that they're handling shiny hunting now is way better. Overall, I actually kind of wish that the main game was more styled towards the way the DLC is. First impressions of it, I think it's a pretty solid DLC. If you want to watch my reactions to all the Megas or a playthrough that I'll get up eventually, you can click right here and look at this.